LoveLine.
LoveLine is meant for an adult audience. LoveLine may contain sexually oriented content. Listener discretion is advised. This is LoveLine. LoveLine. With Adam Carolla and Dr. Drew.
Yes, indeed, it's LoveLine. The phone number here, 1-800-LOVE-191. That music turned down nicely and quickly. I'm here in Los Angeles. Adam, are you there?
Yes, I is.
Adam, can you hear me?
Oh,
nice.
No.
Oh, yes. I'll break into song here.
Can you hear me, Drew?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Oh, good. Is Jeff there?
Jeff Probst is here.
I am here, and I brought a special guest for you, AC. Miss Julie Berry from the Survivor Vanuatu season, because I thought you might want a little perspective from an actual survivor rather than me
by yourself
telling you what I
just
think
him blasting the Survivor participants without their being present.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, and welcome to the show, Julie.
Howdy.
Good. I was going to say good to see you, but good to hear you.
I thought you were going to be here tonight.
Well, I thought I was too, but I got out of work too late. I got to stay here one more night. So, unfortunately, I'll be in Charlotte for one more night. But we'll see if we can do this as seamlessly as possible.
Anything weird happen?
No, nothing weird happened. Just, a lot of crappy hard work as usual. I don't want to cry. I'm being well compensated. I do want to kiss a little Survivor ass, though.
Let's do it.
Yeah, because that's my thing. We have a unspoken agreement, Jeff and I. He comes on the show once a year. I kiss 2 hours of ass, and then he leaves.
That's why he comes back.
Yeah. Well, listen, I love the show. I saw last week. I saw the first installment last week, and I have a few questions.
Okay.
By the way, I like the idea of you tossing somebody immediately at the top. It made it, it brought that sort of intrigue that you usually have to wait for the end of the show for at the beginning of the show. But I don't know that much about the location, although I did see a lot of great underwater shots of wrecked World War II Japanese aircraft and Allied aircraft and boats and that kind of stuff. So can you tell us about the location?
Yeah, well, Palau is off the coast of Guam. And there's an area out there, Palalu, that was a big World War II battle spot. And that's what it's probably most known for historically. And you will see it throughout the season. There are Japanese Zero airplanes all over the place, huge ships, 20 or 30 feet underwater, tanks in the middle of the jungle, blown out fortresses where people were barricaded. And, I think for a long time, a lot of the survivors thought it was set dressing, that we were trying to make it look sort of warlike. It's a real deal. And that's one element. The other element is it's a premier diving spot.
The sea life, yeah, that's what it's known for now, is the absolutely the pinnacle.
Incredible.
Of scuba diving.
Yeah, incredible.
It is as exotic a location as you guys have ever been to, and you've been to many exotic locations, but at least visually, it's incredible. I don't know what it's like as far as being there. I imagine it's stunning.
It's stunning, but it's not as remote as some of the things you've done.
No,
right?
It's not as remote. What we're learning is, well, one, there are very few remote, uninhabited places on the planet.
Right.
But what we've learned is you can go to a place like Palau, which has a city and has a lot of tourists coming in to scuba dive. But we go out and rent, or buy for a period of time these islands that nobody can get to, and we section them off. And it is remote. As far as the survivors are concerned, there ain't nobody out there.
Right.
But I'm happy to hear. I've been hearing a lot this week about people noticing the beauty of the location, and you sometimes wonder if it's going to come through. And it's going to be good. This season is going to be good. Huge characters.
Great.
All right, so now Drew's favorite.
I'm just thinking more pathology. Fantastic. I can sit there and cringe and go, where's
You know what, though? It's not necessarily crazy people this time in terms of off the top, over the top characters.
As opposed to Julie and her clan?
Yeah, well... Yeah,
the real nut jobs.
We were really balanced.
But one thing this season had going in with these people is the whole notion of integrity, which always comes up. But usually it's forget integrity. I'll lie, I'll cheat, I'll do whatever it takes. We have 3 or 4 people who came in really strong saying, I'm going to show you how to play this game with integrity. And you watch, I'm not going to cave. And so it's almost has a positive challenge to it. Do you think you can beat me? Because if I find a couple other people who are going to play by the rules, we will kick your ass.
Interesting.
So Jeff, you're at the point right now where it's in the can, it's done, but you haven't done. I mean, on your schedule, obviously, us civilians have to watch for the next upcoming. How many episodes, by the way, before we get to the big unveil?
14.
We have to watch, and I don't mean have to, like we're getting our teeth cleaned. We're allowed the privilege of watching the next 14 episodes before the big unveiling. You obviously know what went on up until that point, but you don't know what went on the big unveiling because you haven't had it yet. Is this correct?
That's live, right? The big unveiling.
And what we do is we, as Julie, can tell you because she made it really deep in the show. They cast their votes, but it's a blind vote. We take all the cameramen away. We put the cameras up. We make sure they're working. We run audio tape, and then there's nobody there. So they walk up at the final vote, and there's a cameraman there. There's nobody there. There are 3 cameras, 1 overhead and 2 in front of them, and they're looking at this little red dot giving their speech. Then we lock those votes in a little container. Somebody comes out, checks tape, checks audio tape, and boom, I take off with them, give them to a CBS exec when we get back to the U.S., and so I'm sure somebody looks at them, but I don't. I never have.
So you know the final 2, but you don't know the winner, obviously.
Exactly.
I'll tell you, it's I've not seen a bad season yet. It's the format is such that it's always intriguing. They're good episodes and they're great episodes, but there are no duds in there. And I'm starting to think from watching The Apprentice, which I now really enjoy, that Mark Burnett is a genius.
Yes, I agree.
Burnett is a great storyteller. He's a fantastic businessman and, legendarily probably brutal at it. But what I think gets lost sometimes is he's a good storyteller. He didn't stumble onto some franchise called Survivor and buy it. He built this. He took a small idea and expanded it into a huge idea, built the team, built the storytelling methods, and hired really good people as producers and technical operators to keep it going. And, I've seen an episode of The Contender. It's really good. I mean, Burnett's good.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, and this is the thing I think everyone should, take note of is it's not about the idea or even the cast. It's really about the execution of the idea.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sure The Contender will be great based on Survivor and based on The Apprentice. And all 3 of them seem like a franchise that could just keep going in perpetuity.
You just said something that nobody has ever brought up, and I'm always talking to my buddies about. The execution, because it's the same with your guys' show. You take this concept of having a doctor and a comedian who's sharp and funny, and okay, that sounds great. Who are the people? And it's the same with Survivor. I see bad reality shows and I think, wow, think if those guys had got the rights to Survivor. What would have happened to it? Because it's a far cry from saying 16 people deserted, and then it's a whole, and so much of what the Burnett team does is not visible to the viewer. It's the execution that makes it work.
Most of the ideas for, whether it be reality show or not, if you just described them on a small, put them down on a piece of paper, put them in a hat, and included Survivor and The Contender and The Apprentice in there, it wouldn't look any different from the next one if you just sort of pulled them out.
The all-time example of execution making the show, something called The Man Show.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
The people that are executing it moved on.
And the show
Another group
went
that tried
away.
that executed. There you go.
Drew,
Aren't you glad
look
I
at
said
Drew.
that, not you?
I know. I was screaming it, but my mouth wasn't opening.
I could hear it. I could hear it all the way over here.
No, you know what? It never even scurried through my mind, but God bless you for bringing it up, and thank you for backing him up, Jeff.
Another, it's
Setting me up, too, by the way.
Another thing about Survivor is that the casting for all of the other shows that are under either CBS or the Burnett regime, the creme de la creme come to Survivor. So if somebody people may not want to hear this or know this, but the truth is, you apply for Amazing Race, and our same casting director does that show. If she thinks you're really great, she
Survivor
basically bumps you up to Survivor. So
Pulls
we
the ringers out.
we get the best people. And it's not that you're a certain aptitude or a certain intelligence, it's that you're the right fit for Survivor. You know how to deliver, you know how to tell a story, you're going to be compelling. And anyway, what I'm laughing at is last time we did this, Drew was on location, you were here, and you kept saying he wants to go to a call. Drew's itching to go to a call. I'm not going to go to a call. And you kept putting him. Now Drew's in control, and you're sitting in a motel somewhere.
That's right. We're going to calls.
And how dare you motel? It's a motor lodge. It's a totally different animal, Jeff. You're used to sleeping on a tent in some beach somewhere. How dare you? I have a Murphy bed.
Nice.
Yeah.
We just got back from Maine, and we did a little snowboard, and we had a Murphy bed up there. Those are kind of quaint.
Julie's from Maine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you say we, do you mean you and Julie?
Of course.
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
I finally done what you're supposed to do is,
Hook up with somebody on the show.
Yeah. It's an office romance that I hope never, ever ends.
did you? I feel the same way about Drew, actually. Do you?
I had my behind until Adam.
Yeah, that's right. I broke his behind one night on the road many years ago.
It'll happen.
So you can break your behind snowboarding too, by the way.
And riding horses, yes, sure.
Yeah.
What about Saddle Ranch? That bull, that mechanical bull.
Absolutely, that'll do it.
Another
nearly
way
broke my behind that way.
Well,
it wasn't until the guy climbed on the back that it actually was broken. So
they're great bulls on the circuit called, Bahayman. There's the Widowmaker and the Bahayman Buster.
You don't want to draw him.
No, that's a bad draw. No one's gone 7 on the Bahayman Buster. All right. Wouldn't that be weird? Like, that'd be a weird thing to do with a bull. Like, well, he bucks pretty good. He's fairly ferocious, but gayer than all Perry.
He'll bust your...
Yeah, if he takes you down, he's getting on top of you. It'd be a weird thing to just put in your mind before they let you out of the stall,
Yeah, and some of those bulls got to be gay.
They got to be gay.
Yeah.
Jeff, so insightful.
Thank you.
You know they're gay. You know those bulls are gay. Hey, well, let me ask one more quick question before we go to the phones. So, Jeff, you obviously met Julie, during the taping, but nothing went on during the taping, right?
Oh, well, I mean...
That's the party line.
It's not possible, but
it's impossible.
Yeah, sure.
But
go with
the
it.
survivors only see Jeff when you guys see him on TV, and you're not focused on him at all.
Well, I think
you're trying to win $1 million.
I think there is a perception that when the cameras are when I'm not there, that I'm still there. That I go to the beach and hang out.
And you know them by name. And
that's not you. I'm there every time I'm with them. Is what's on the show, and
your camera's rolling every time you're with them.
Exactly. Yes, and it makes the show.
But what I'm getting at is, Jeff, obviously you were able to sort of focus on Julie because you're looking at dailies and things like that, right?
Well, I really don't look at tape either to tell you. Here's what really
for this
happened.
Particular tribe.
Yeah,
I mean, sure. I had to check in occasionally.
Right.
How did it work?
Well, we met at casting and we didn't have a very good meeting. The interrogation, I think you and I probably talked about it on here, but it's pretty severe. And Drew was just saying he was talking with our psychologist about the psych profile. There's also the mental interrogation of people coming into a room with Burnett and me and some of our other EPs. And when Julie came in, she had just recently found her biological sister. They were separated as kids, and she was adopted. And
just being adopted and separated.
You were adopted too?
Yeah, and we both got adopted into a family then when I was 5 and she was 4.
What happened?
Just it wasn't a safe environment for me, and I got taken out and ended up...
Were you on... you're American Indian?
Correct.
Were you raised on a reserve or something? Is that
No,
just the family
not at
wasn't
all.
safe?
Yeah. Wasn't a good
And
situation for me.
so you were taken away, and your sister was taken away.
No, she stayed with that family, and I ended up moving to Maine and living with the Berries, who my family is. Yeah.
And
so-
you were, that must have been traumatizing, by the way.
Yeah, it was a dramatic event in my life, and I had just found Leah, and then I had gone to my interview, and it's all intense, and Jeff is just a tough guy to, when he knows what he wants, and he's obviously directing something at somebody. I was intimidated, and I got emotional because this was a big event in my life, and I walked out of the casting room pissed.
Yeah, it was. Well, people give you a lot of stuff that isn't true, and you're trying to break through and figure out what's really truthful. And a third of the people come in and they have some dramatic story.
I hate to say it, you need me in that room.
Yeah. You know what? Come sit.
You need, seriously, I would love. It'd be so much fun.
You would love.
Because I have the Karnak ability.
Really? See, I don't. So
I could tell you the question.
Shh, Jeff, she's for real. Back off.
Julia, you'll date her one day. I know it. It's in the profile. This is for you.
I could have used you because she got into this and we kind of hit on a tough subject, and I said, I don't buy it at all. I think what I think's really happening is you're frustrated that Burnett's on his Palm Pilot. We're not paying enough attention. And she looked at me like, well, you know what? You don't know what time it is. But she was clearly upset, and she walked out. But as she walked out, I did say, completely uncharacteristic of me, I said,
I love you. Date me soon. Let me have your number.
we'll be in touch. But no, I did notice, she did make a connection. But on the show, we flirted, but you flirt with lots of,
of course.
You give what
I do,
people
of
give
course.
you. No, I mean, on Survivor, you give back what they're giving you because it's a mental game, and
Right.
I'm just another obstacle.
Right.
If you're going to be mean to me, I'll be mean to you because that's the game
You're playing part of the game. Yeah.
Nothing was happening on the show. But after the show, there was a connection, and I did pursue it.
Julie, where was your family of origin from?
Maine.
That's your current family, your family of origin?
I was born
So
in Maine,
both families.
ended up moving down to Connecticut, and then got readopted by a family in Maine again.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, my
And
goodness.
how did you find your sister, your biological sister?
Tenacity.
Well, you were going after it for a while. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
It's a horrible name, by the way. Sounds like she's black or something. Tenacity.
Black stripper.
Yeah. But anyway,
No,
how
she's
did you
gorgeous.
find tenacity? No, you just kept pursuing it. And
Internet.
Was she looking for you?
No, not at all. Not at
What
all.
is she doing now?
She grew up very different than I did.
What?
Her family was rougher, and she didn't have the support, and she ended up leaving at an earlier age, and so she's been very independent.
Getting pregnant?
No.
I'm just that's usually the story. That's usually how it goes.
No, not at all.
She's a sharp. We've met. I mean, I've met her and been around her. The similarities are amazing considering they spent basically no time other than their first couple of years
Interesting.
together.
Similar
Is she younger or
energy.
older?
She's 15 months younger than
Younger.
me. Yeah.
So how old are you now, Julie, if you don't mind me asking?
24.
So you hadn't seen her in almost, this was a while ago. So it'd been like 17, 18 years since you'd seen her?
Correct. Yeah. Long
Wow.
time. But I instantly connected with her, fell in love with her right away, and there was an undeniable chemistry between
And
us.
you continue to have contact with her?
Yeah, I do. She
Nice.
came to the finale, and I wish she was closer so I could spend more time.
Wow.
Wow. I guess that's good because, there's that weird thing. I mean, I don't haven't done it with a sibling, but sometimes you hook up with that person you haven't seen since junior high or something, and then you realize 10 minutes into your conversation, you really don't care if you see the person again, but the entire conversation is about getting together again. But you realize you just don't want to see them, and they're like, "Oh yeah, no, we gotta, yeah," and you're like, "No, we don't.
You're already thinking of how you're going to get out of what you're currently planning.
Right. And it's so funny to be planning. I just wonder percentage-wise, like when you're on your deathbed, what percentage of plans you were trying to get out of while currently making?
In Los
Angeles.
Yeah, it's
in the
every day.
80s. Yeah. And we got to do lunch. You're right. We got to do that. That's going to be awesome. We'll go to the day spa. It's going to be awesome. We got to get to the track, bro. Yeah.
But the good thing about Los Angeles is it's so easy to break it because the other person wants to break it too. So all you have to do is email. You don't even have to talk to him. Hey, sorry, something came up. We'll reschedule next week. It's all good.
Oh, and the good thing about being Jeff Probst is you always, you got to get on a helicopter and rappel into a volcano. It's like with me, it's like, well, I only beat off twice this week and I'm kind of behind. It's a totally different set of rules.
Yeah.
All right. Let's take some calls, Drew. What time is it? What's going on?
It's 10:20, but let's take a call. How about that?
Let's take a call.
I love this.
All right. This is Dorothy, 17.
Hey, yeah. My question, like I said, it's more of a statement. I've been sexually active for like 3 years, almost 4 years. And just recently, I just haven't been able to get into it anymore.
By sexually active, you mean you've been having sex since you were 13?
14. I'm almost 18.
Huh.
Yeah. All right.
And suddenly...
Do you have a boyfriend?
No, not anymore.
Does that have anything to do with why you shut down?
No, because he and I actually broke up a really long time ago, like 2 years ago, but we were still hooking up and stuff like that.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
So the story, Dorothy, does not sound great. You start at 14. You have a guy you're intensely involved with. You break up, but you keep having sex with him. Now you're kind of shut down. Are you on any medication?
Yeah.
What are you taking?
I'm on Zoloft and Wellbutrin, and I'm taking birth control.
Okay. Well, Zoloft will shut you down pretty good.
Will it?
So absolutely, that just takes your sex drive away. Some people really shuts it down.
Why are you on birth control if you don't have a boyfriend?
I was started on birth control when I first started having sex because I was pregnant, and my parents didn't like it. So.
Did you have an abortion?
Oh no, I actually had a miscarriage, and then they put me on birth control right away.
Good times.
Yeah. And, Dorothy's 17?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dorothy is the name of a 77-year-old.
Yeah.
How do you get that name?
She's had the life of a 40-year-old too.
That's true, but Agnes is a younger-sounding name.
Oh, I was named after my grandmother, actually.
And I'm picking up a little pot laugh going on there, Dorothy. You smoking a lot of pot?
No, not at all. No.
All right. Well, Dorothy, it sounds like you've got a lot of living in a pretty short period of time. And here's the thing. Here's the thing about this show. Everyone calls in, asks a question, and then we never answer it because to us it takes a distant back seat to what the real issues are.
Right.
And the real issues are you've been sexually active for 3 years and you're still in high school. You've been pregnant already. There's a ton of chaos going on here. And it seems like the sexual part is the least of your worries. As a matter of fact, it's good for you and for society that you're not particularly horny at this stage of the game.
Yes, absolutely. Do not stop your medication. Plus, a doctor would not have put you on these medications casually. You must have really needed them. Have you tried hurting yourself or anything like that?
Yeah, I was in an institute for a while.
Okay, so you've tried to kill yourself. You have a potentially fatal condition. It is successfully treated, and as a side effect of that, it's also controlling some of your acting out behaviors. So just sit tight. Sit tight. Hey, follow direction. Just take it easy.
Yeah,
it's all good.
That's right. Put that vagina up on top of the refrigerator where the cat can't get to it. Yeah, or under, and just let it get a little dust on it.
Yeah.
No big deal.
Absolutely.
God knows I went without it.
Hey, her vagina or a vagina? Yes, Adam.
Any vagina. and a behind. Here's what does it say her problem is on the screen?
Loses sex drive while making out. Used to be into it. Why?
Okay, because I'm going to pay you a compliment because usually I'm sitting there next to you and I'm reading the screen oftentimes, and it doesn't feel the same. When I'm over here and out of the studio and I hear you say things like, well, the doctor wouldn't have put you on these medications if you hadn't tried something serious, if you ever had a suicide attempt, and they say yes, it sounds like it's pre-screened. Right. And you know the answer, and it's a Dr. Phil kind of thing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes,
It's really impressive when you're not in the studio and you realize that it's not on the screen. No one told you there was a suicide attempt, yet you sussed it out.
And that's what makes me uncomfortable sitting here, is that I know everything I say.
Don't worry, Jeff. I've known you long enough.
Figuring something out.
You don't have to say anymore, Jeff. We've already got you figured out. Just relax. It's all done. It's toast. But Adam, you're right. I have a warm feeling and a glow, and I suddenly feel really kind of glad wouldn't be the right word. Privileged that I lost my behind to you.
I'll tell you, but thank you, Drew. It means a lot to me. But before we go to break, I just want to say, Jeff, you and Julie are so lucky that I'm not in town, because usually when we're done with the show, Drew and I immediately get on each other's cell phones and gossip about the guest. And we would have a field day with you two in this budding relationship.
Gossip on air, buddy. Gossip on air.
I don't know. It's so...
I can't wait to hear it.
No, I can't, because I know, Jeff, I know oftentimes you're stoned when you come in the studio, and I don't want to freak you out.
All right, let's do some break. Let's
take a break. Go.
All right. This is LoveLine. The phone number is 1-800-LOVE-191. Jeff Probst is our honored guest tonight, and his lovely companion, Julie Berry. We'll be right back.
If you need help, hang up and then dial.
LoveLine. 1-800-LOVE-191. LoveLine will be right back.
Welcome back to LoveLine, 1-800-LOVE-191. Jeff Probst, Julie Berry. And don't forget to listen to LoveLine all next week when we're giving away an iPod Shuffle. At the beginning of each show, we will give you all the details and tell you what to listen for so you can win one of these amazing little technological instruments. I still think they're the greatest thing.
They are, until somebody gets one of them caught in a washing machine and it pulls their head off.
Yeah, I would say that's true of anything that has a headset on it. If it gets caught in an axle of your car, it's not a good idea.
Well, not the headset.
I love that Drew knows.
The thing hangs around your neck like a bolo tie, and I'm just worried that lanyard's going to get caught on something, and that's where they're going to find me. You know what I'm saying?
Because you never take yours off anymore.
And you know what? You know, the sad part is it'll probably be mistaken for one of those autoerotic asphyxiation things.
Not mistaken, Mr. Kroll. Yeah. Not mistaken.
We'll make sure.
What'll happen is coincidentally I was masturbating while wearing the iPod Shuffle when the thing got caught in the garage door opener.
Just paying the odds, the probability of going across any given day. If you get tangled up in this washing machine, what's the probability to be masturbating at the same time?
Well, pretty decent, but it wasn't the autoerotic type. You know, it wasn't asphyxiation type.
What do you care? Your hand's still stuck to your junk, and it's tough.
All right, Drew. I'm just saying I'm going to need a little fudge on the official cause of death from you, buddy. That's all.
I'll work. Understood.
Come on, I got family. I got grieving family.
I know. And stop referring to our love life.
I got to talk to. I got to talk to Jeff real quick about Survivor. Just now, is this the 8th or the 9th episode? 10th.
5 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Does that include the best of or the All Star?
Yeah. And you know what? The ratings went up. This premiere is the biggest premiere we've had since Africa. If you exclude the Super Bowl season where we had a little bump because of the Super Bowl. Yeah, we premiered at 24 million, just under 24 million, which is a huge number going into your 5th year, 10th season.
Crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Right. And for you, Jeff, I mean, on one hand, well, actually on about 10 hands, it's great. On the other hand, you're the Survivor guy now.
Yeah.
Is that where you want to be your whole career?
You know the answer to that question. I mean, you're in this business hoping to get a job that gets you known. And then the second you get a job that starts to get you known, your friends or, people who wish they had your job start saying, well, so how long do you think you'll do it? I mean, you don't want to be known as the Survivor guy. I don't? Yeah. I thought that was the whole point, is to get a career.
Yeah.
So I agree. It's just sometimes, and it just depends. There's some people who are, they have their heart set on doing features, for instance, or you've got to sing, or I don't know what you've got to do.
Got to dance.
Yeah,
No, I
mean,
hear
yeah.
you. You know, the thing, the truth is that my contract's up after 12, and CBS has already purchased, okayed us to do 11 and 12, and my contract's up, and a lot of people's contracts on the creative end are up. And you're right, after 6 years of doing the same show and of traveling and stuff like that, regardless of the fact that I'm still a kid from Wichita who got this lucky job, I get that, and I'm grateful every day. But there is a party that says, all right, what can I do to keep it fresh? This is my only shot. I get one life, I'm going to die one day, and I want to have experienced my life the way I see fit. So, I definitely have thought of that. And then there's the guy that comes in and says, are you crazy? Robert Forrester, well-known actor from a lot of movies, and he was in Jackie Brown, and super nice guy. And I go hiking with him at Runyon, and he'll tell me, he goes, Jeff, I had a 25-year drought. Don't you dare give up that job.
Yeah, I mean, he was real big in the 60s, maybe the 70s, and then Quentin Tarantino sort of brought him back in Jackie Brown. Listen, I'm with you. Take the money, you enjoy your job. And by the way, it's not one of these jobs where you're getting slimed or something. You're actually the cool guy. You land in the helicopter with your choker with the hammerhead shark tooth on it, and to look like $1 million yelling at everybody. I think it's a great gig. I just didn't know if personally you wanted to pen some screenplays or something.
I heard that Alan Hale had this exact discussion with Bob Denver. The exact one.
Hey, little buddy, and then he hit him with his hat when he was done.
You know what I'm still laughing at is the truth that I know is that you and Drew drive home in your little cars and you gossip about the guests and what you'd be saying about me. And you know what's funny is that I've already forgotten, and I know this isn't the case for anyone else, but in my life, I've already forgotten the Survivor connection with Julie. I've dated, people before. I fell in love. Julie hates it when I say this. If I'm wrong about this, then I'm going to the celibate, broken Byman washing machine asphyxiation Byman thing. And so I don't sit here and think of it. And then you remind me, and I think, God, that's right. People hear this and they think it's some goofy little, trolling off the company pier.
No, I don't think so.
Listen, and by the way, how does anybody meet anybody? If you really think about it,
right? How many months a year do you travel?
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
But everybody, ask anyone how they met their wife or girlfriend. They tell you at college, at work, a friend of a friend. I mean, it's in your circle. It's what you do.
Yeah.
If you're an attorney, it's another attorney at the firm.
Yep.
This is what you do. That's your law office.
But I get it. I mean, there's so much made of reality and the kind of the funny aspects of The Bachelor where nobody ever stays together and the show is all about getting together. And then you have Rob and Amber from Survivor. You're like you say, you meet who you meet where you meet them. But I find it funny when I get reminded of it because I'd be the same guy sitting at home going, "Oh, give me a break."
No, I only, the fact that you guys are committed is the refreshing part, and that's I don't think anyone can take umbrage with that. The fact, if you were just having sex with everyone who came onto the island,
just doing that. If you were just doing that, if you were only doing that,
the fact that you've settled in with a survivor is commendable. Mazel tov.
Yeah, cheers.
It's a mitzvah. Let's take some calls.
I just want to say one quick thing.
One more thing.
Every time I sit there, Jeff, I know I always bring this up, but every time I sit there and my wife and I watch a show on a Thursday night, first I do the Survivor dance.
He has a dance, Julie. Julie has a dance.
I want to see this.
Unfortunately, you're going to miss it.
My wife starts yelling, do the dance. I come running in. I do it in front of. Now we have a dog that looks at me like I'm clinically insane when I do the Survivor dance. But the point is I always listen. What are the tribe names going to be? And each year I pray, give me a good one like Turbo or Nitro Max. And it's always some indigenous BS.
Yeah.
Could you please just name it after like a engine additive or something? Give it a good American
One of
name.
those American gladiator
That's
names,
what I was
like
just thinking.
Diamond.
Yes.
That's what I'm.
Turbo.
Turbo
yeah.
thrust would be good.
Turbo wins immunity. Diamond, back to your camp.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome, dude.
Yeah, it ain't happening, but
All right.
All right, here we go. This now is Nicole, 25.
Hey, okay, I got HPV 7 years ago when I was 18.
Good time.
That's warts, everybody.
Yes, that is.
Yeah, and they had to do the freezing thing with the nitrogen.
Right.
And then I had my nurse practitioner do that. And so whatever, basically they told me that if it doesn't come back for a year, then it's gone. So I was like,
that's not necessarily true, but go ahead.
well, right, which I realized 7 years later, they said that my pap smear came back abnormal. So I went back, and basically they said it was back. But
What
then,
if maybe you've been re-exposed?
is that possible?
Oh, absolutely. There's many different kinds of wart viruses out there.
Well, anyway, I went back in, and they said, whatever, it's back. But then I went in again, to do a culture, and they said that I'm fine, and it's gone. So I'm wondering what happened, what they found, and...
Here. What period of time was this between when it recurred and it went away?
7
Weeks or...
maybe 2 weeks.
So that doesn't make... I would assume it... I would really assume it's still there and follow up very carefully every 6 months with pap smears. I doubt this is the same virus that was there 7 years ago because there would have been evidence of persistence. However, you need to know that the viruses that last more than 5 years tend to be the ones that cause the cervical cancer. So if this is the same one, you really need to stay on top of it. If it's a new one, which it probably is, also make sure it's not one of the ones that sticks around and causes the cancer. So you need to get regular exams. Assume it's still around. Wear condoms more fastidiously, okay?
Well, the thing,
Well, maybe she should have her partners wear the condoms.
Yeah, you're right.
I think
you're
it's
right.
a little presumptuous to stuff yourself with a condom before.
Touche. Yeah, well said.
Although if I did go out with a gal and she had the condom in her already, I'd be like, oh, you're going to score, dude. Yeah, this is sure thing.
well, the guy I'm with right now, I plan to be with him, it's it. I'm not doing anything else, so... I mean, he knows everything, so I don't
you got to assume that he's got it too now, so he may have to be checked to make sure there's no pre-wart changes
even though
on
my
his
doctor
skin.
said that I don't have it.
I just think the fact that you had it there, I would proceed. I'm not saying whether you do or you don't. I would proceed as though you do.
Well, what do you
see what I'm saying?
What do you do with this guy, though? You're going to... Hold on,
What's that?
down. Quiet her down.
Wait, I want to hear what you said. Wait, what'd you say? Nicole, what'd you say?
This was 2 months ago, which... they just said, come back, in 6 months and you're fine. So
all right. Well, if you were fine, they wouldn't be having you back in 6 months. That's the point. You need to have pap smears every 6 months. I totally agree with that. And I'm saying your boyfriend needs to be checked as well because if you have the virus, you probably do. It's probably a new one. He's probably got it. So he's got to get checked too, just to be sure. Dermatologist would be the place to go with him. Okay.
Okay.
But he should just go ahead and get it if they're looking at settling in, right? He doesn't want to wear a condom.
No, he's already got it. So no. If it's one guy, it's good to go.
But what would you say, Drew, if there was hypothetically, let's just say Jeff had the wart virus?
Just
why we got to use me?
Because 50% of men have it. There's two of us in the room, so let's choose you. Okay.
Right. Okay. He's just, one too many Hollywood.
Do I know it?
Well, no, you don't know it. No, yes, you do know it.
Okay.
You do know it. And Julie and Jeff are very serious, and, they're thinking about making a life together. Mm-hmm. Does Jeff need to wear a condom?
It's an interesting question. Depends. Here's what should happen. He should get the warts carefully controlled before the condom comes off. And then, even so, she may well get it, and let's just hope it's not the kind that caused cervical cancer. It's an interesting question.
Well, but because who's going to wear a condom? Well, you say...
God, I suddenly feel icky.
You can't wear the condom forever because you're going to try to have kids. And so, the condom's coming off.
Well, just in general, I mean, forget about the, attempts that where you try to crap out a kid. How about every other Friday night?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
if you're going to get married, let's be realistic.
I agree. I definitely feel that way about herpes. That's you just kind of like, whatever. We'll see what happens. Kind of thing. All right, we got to take a break.
Really? All right.
Yeah.
Hang tight, Adam. We'll be right back.
I'll be
All right.
here.
Okay.
LoveLine. We'll be right back.
Please hold.
LoveLine, 1-800-LOVE-191. Jeff Probst, Julie Berry, Survivor, Adam.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's play a little Germany or Florida, shall we?
Yeah.
Let's go right to it. This now is Robert, 21.
Hey, before I go, I'd just like to say that usually I would call in and just throw praise at Adam's feet. But telling Adam he's a genius is basically like telling the Pope he's Catholic. It's just too obvious.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you for that non-praise. That's very good, Robert.
No, but I was just going to say, Drew, I saw you on Court TV 2 weeks ago, and I thought that you came off really well, and I enjoyed it a lot. So,
well, thank you, Robert. I appreciate that.
Well, let's explain that and be fair. He didn't know the car was in gear when he picked up the hooker. She's alive. I don't think that was thoroughly explained in the court. Yeah.
You don't transport people in the trunk? I mean,
yeah. I'm defending you, buddy.
Okay. Thank you.
I just think it sounded weird because I watched it too, and it just sounded weird. But when you explained it, it
made perfect sense.
Absolute sense to me.
Especially
I wouldn't put her in the back
pointed out
seat.
how Corolla does this all the time.
Yeah,
I learned the technique.
Drew, what were you doing on Court TV?
I'm trying to remember. I do a lot of news.
You came off very well.
I was talking about. It's got to be teachers and the teachers having sex with their kids, the students.
I think it was about the boy who was trying to use the Zoloft defense.
Oh, absolutely, it was. It was the Zoloft defense. I beg your pardon, which I thought was just totally bogus. So thank you.
What was that? What was that?
A guy was saying here's the thing. They were saying that a kid, shot his grandmother and grandfather with a shotgun because he'd been on Zoloft for 2 weeks.
Oh yeah.
This, by the way, had been beaten by his grandparents. He was a long-term behavioral problem, and I said, look, for one thing, it just doesn't happen like that. But there is one way they could have made the case, is that sometimes antidepressants are inappropriately prescribed to patients with bipolar disorder. They get manic, they get disorganized, they get nuts, they get agitated, and they'll do wild things. They didn't make that case. They were just saying, "Oh, it's the medicine. It's the medicine." It's like, no.
So if I ever wanted to kill somebody, somebody
just get on Prozac the week before, and you're good.
So I come to you and I say, "Here, I need a clinical," and I work backwards.
Yes, you examine you do the research on what symptoms you need to present with them, get the medicine, and go kill your person. There you go.
Hey, but can I ask you this, Drew?
Yeah.
I feel, and I speak for myself, but I think I speak for you and Jeff and Julie and many people listening to the show. It's not in our vocabulary to take a shotgun to somebody, whether we're in a fugue, manic state or not.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
And as you and I both know, you need to traumatize people to the point that the brain mechanisms that contain that kind of behavior or the things that generate those behaviors are met. In other words, you've got to do things to people, or they have to have long-term brain dysfunction that predisposes to that kind of thing. So there you go. All right.
Well, speaking of that, let's
Germany or
talk
Florida?
Germany or Florida. Go ahead,
right.
Robert.
I heard this on the O'Reilly Factor, but I had to put it in my own words, so I hope it's easy enough to understand.
Germany.
All right.
Zookeepers and scientists were troubled recently when it was discovered that a group of penguins in the zoo appeared to be homosexual. The problem lay in the fact that they were of an endangered variety, and obviously, gay penguin love doesn't exactly lend itself to procreation. So in an attempt to straighten out the limp-winged birds, local scientists requested that a group of female penguins of the same sort be shipped in from Sweden. The scientists, however, encountered another unexpected problem when local gay and lesbian rights activists protested the move, labeling it as discriminatory and insensitive to homosexuals.
Wow.
Now, is this Germany or Florida?
Wow.
Well, let me say this first with the gays and the lesbos. It just dawned on me why they have so much time to picket and boycott. They don't have kids screaming for them all the time.
Right.
You really realize if you have a segment of society that doesn't have a bunch of crying kids waiting at home for them, they're perfectly free to hit the streets with signs and protest things. So it's a bad group to screw with because, like, Drew, you couldn't protest anything, could you?
No money, no time. It's all going to the kids.
Right. And your wife couldn't. She's too busy, like taking the kid to figure skating classes and stuff, right?
Absolutely.
The gays have nothing but time for protesting, and they can cruise the event. You know what I mean? They're probably
it's a
not
social
even there.
process.
Yeah, they're not protesting. They're just looking for a guy with a yellow bandana. Like, hey.
Adam, let me just interrupt and say, I protest every weekend.
That's right. Oh, yeah, Engineers Michelle. And it's a great place to score, right?
Oh, yeah. I meet chicks all the time.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, if there was just a single straight guy protest, I might go there and cruise some chicks. All right, I know the answer to this.
Oh, really? You want to just let it go because you have like 20 seconds for a break?
I'm going to abstain, but you guys, you want to guess when we come back?
When we come back. So in the meantime, we'll put Robert on hold. We will talk more Germany or Florida and Penguins in Sweden. When we return, Jeff Probst, Julie Berry, LoveLine, 1-800-LOVE-191, and we will return after this.
Here it is. Bottom line, it sucks being single today. Tons of lame people and no decent prospects. Call the Dateline. Call the Dateline. Call the Dateline.
1-877-889-DATE.
LoveLine.
LoveLine will be right back. So get your problems ready. Ready.
That's right. It's LoveLine, 1-800-LOVE-191. You say Survivor. I think Jeff Probst.
Yeah. I'm doing my dance.
We are in the middle of the South Pacific, where Adam Carolla and Dr. Drew are attempting to do their show live without any satellites. No microphones.
Just yelling. Just screaming.
Hey, Jeff, can I ask you, have you, obviously, you don't know who the ultimate winner of this 10th year of, or 10th season of Survivor is, but do you know how you're going to make your grand entrance? And they seem to get bigger each season. Do you feel compelled to outdo yourself?
Adam, I'm going to share with you, as a testament to my love for you and Drew, I'm going to share with you something not previously said. There will be no huge entrance this season.
Really?
Well, that's the huge entrance, Adam.
Well, why not?
Because of what you just said. You can't. It
becomes cliche at a certain point.
Yeah. Well, there's this fine line, we are over the top and we do things over the top, but you can't always top yourself. And if you don't have something really good, my philosophy is if we don't have something really good,
just do it honestly.
Then just do it straight.
Yeah.
And we don't always have, we tried to come up with something and we just didn't, the location didn't lend to it itself. And some of the ideas being pitched to me, I just thought, you know what, it's not going to work. It's not. That's
nice that they give you that kind of creative control though, where you can say, guys.
Well, it's not that I have creative control. It's that we have a nucleus of people and we all work together.
To me, that's a testament to Mark Burnett.
Oh, Mark gives us.
But that he's listening to you guys.
He does. And Mark doesn't, even come out that much anymore. He doesn't have to. He's got to
do the
company.
Last year, I just want to refresh everyone's memory of last season where you hacked through the jungle, got on the seaplane, and then you parachuted out of the plane onto the vintage circa 1942 Indian motorcycle and drove that straight into CBS. And it was funny, like people. Well, I showed up at Kimmel the next day, and people were like, "That seaplane couldn't have made it from the island all the way to Los Angeles." I was like, "Come on, everybody! It's it's a little artistic license."
I am amazed when people show up and they'll go, "Just so you know, I know you didn't ride the jet ski from the Amazon. I happen to know that the gas tank, could never."
How do they watch a James Bond film?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, no way, dude. No way.
Well, that's the thing, and I think maybe, or maybe tell me if I'm foisting this on you or not, Jeff, but maybe, you have a little different criteria because you guys are a reality show. And James Bond is, fictional character. And so when you do these large-scale things, I think they're really cool, but you run the risk of of soiling the other parts of the show that aren't cooked.
You know what? I hear what you're saying, and it is. I had never really thought about that, but to me, it's in the same sort of world. This is probably a stretch of an analogy, but we'll have people on on the show, and they'll say, well, this challenge isn't fair. I'm not as strong, or this challenge is built more for men, or whatever. And we'll always say, and puzzles aren't fair to stupid people. I mean, it's if you can't figure out that at the end of the show, it's over, and then I jump up into the air and suddenly start flying, that I'm really not flying.
Right.
You know what? That's your problem.
Right.
Well, it's you. You're not a fan anyway at that point. If you're sitting there looking to pick holes in it, and I do commend you, by the way, on the challenges, because each and every week you have to think of ones that aren't uniquely weighted in one direction or another,
right.
because it is so much easier, or seemingly easier, for a lot of the guys to win the obstacle course type things.
Yeah.
But that you have the puzzles, and I was surprised. I mean, I really learned from the show that women seem to have more endurance than men, even though it was something that was commonly talked about before this. They're the ones that seem to last longer on one leg standing on a pier pylon than the guys.
Right.
Did you see that, Julie, on your season? Because we've always felt that women's willpower is stronger.
Endurance, definitely. Willpower, I don't know.
But isn't endurance just sort of a byproduct of willpower?
It's figures into it, right?
Yeah, well, I would assume so. Yeah.
I mean, what challenge is coming into my mind? Remember the one, season 1 or 2, where they were standing just with their hand on a post for an hour on end?
Yeah.
And the old guy sort of blinked.
Yeah.
And
he just lost his concentration.
And she was ready for a couple more days there. She was like leaning into it, and no, whatever.
Yeah. And you see things with upper body strength, like if you have to have 10 people holding something up over their head, bet on the woman. They're going to win that. Now, I don't know, Drew, why that is medically, but
just the weight of the arms.
Guys just can't do it.
Hey, we got a problem here. Let's finish up with Robert, who was mere 15 minutes ago was giving us a Germany or Florida. Hey, Robert.
Yes.
The problem with it, you presented this in a very skillful and artistic manner by putting in your own words, lending us to think it could be a German translation, mentioning the Swedish source of the penguins. So well done. I for a second thought, could that have been German? But I realized I read this story.
He lifted it from the O'Reilly factor.
Yeah, I know.
So he paraphrased.
No, I know. And I'd heard of this story too. And so we've all kind of heard it, I think. So unfortunately.
So does everyone know where it's from?
Guys know? Jeff?
Florida.
Florida.
Wrong.
Florida.
It's Bremen, Germany.
That's great.
And that's why you have to play the game. You understand?
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Well done. Well done.
What does he get?
The fact that they shipped the penguins in from Sweden would make it obvious that it was in Europe, because why would they ship penguins in from Sweden in Florida?
I thought you were trying to trick us with that. See, it was
See, Drew, let me explain a couple of things. First, Jeff, you ask what he gets. Well, we don't really have anything to give away, but we do something unique. We don't give the winners a gift, but we don't give them herpes. You see,
nice.
It's different, because what would you rather have, a crappy windbreaker or not getting herpes?
Yeah, definitely. You're so right. It's great.
Yeah, so Robert, you'll not be getting herpes.
There you go.
See, sometimes it's not what you get, it's what you don't get.
It's what you don't get.
Herpes, a bullet, crabs, hit by a train. These are all
a nice
better.
Little hallmark.
Yeah,
moment.
all better than a tote bag, if you really think about it. Secondly, Drew, let me yell at you for a second.
Yes, please, because I'm about to yell at myself.
You constantly, I do a better job of it than you do, so let me handle it. You constantly think that our callers are trying to trick us with the Germany or Florida. I keep telling you they're not smart enough to trick us. It's like saying your dog is trying to trick you by not eating the food.
Well done.
It's not in its vocabulary.
Yes, you're right.
They're not advanced enough. And it's interesting, and you're going to have to take a good long look in the mirror about this one. You constantly think you're trying to be deceived on this game, and I keep explaining to you that's not part of it. So why is it that you think everyone's trying to fool you?
Well, it's even worse how more suggestible I am. I'd read the story, And I heard all the hints at Germany and stuff, and I thought, I think it's Germany. And Michelle goes, I read it too. It's in Florida. I went, I guess it was Florida. I guess I'm wrong.
That's true. Yeah.
I guess, I thought it was Germany. Oh, Florida, Michelle.
It was all over the paper. I mean,
Florida.
Yeah, Florida. That's what I read it on many different papers.
That's what she said to me, and I went, I guess I knew I read it, but Florida, I guess.
I just I did that pilot for Comedy Central, and this is one of the things we talked about, and it was Germany. It was a whole week of this, so
all right.
Believe you me.
Take some calls. Here's Shera, 22. Yeah, what's going on?
Hi. I have been with my husband for 4 years now, and we've been married for 2.5. I was curious. We have a good sex life and everything. I mean, I can please him just fine. But he can't give me an orgasm without using something else, like a vibrator or something else.
But you are able to have one.
Yes. I mean, I have no problem once we use something, but he could sit there and go down on me for like an hour or 2 hours, and I mean, it feels good, but I can't reach a peak, and I don't know if that's something I'm like inhibited or...
Well, first, let me say, if you're not having one by, minute 98 with me, I'm backing off. I'm regrouping.
Well,
would I pull back and regroup at this point?
You take a deep breath and then go back in?
Yeah. I go into the closet and I yell, "Get a hand in, boys. We got to break it down."
Yeah, it's another Survivor challenge, I think.
Yeah, I think the ladies probably would win this one, too. All right. Look, if it doesn't work, but it does work this way, then that's fine. I mean,
why is
worked it out.
Don't overthink
I just feel bad because it makes him feel like he's incompetent or something, and I don't know if it's something that I'm keeping inhibited or if...
No. Way too much is made of that whole notion that it's something sort of psychological. There's a biological wiring to a lot of this. Are you on medication of any kind?
No.
Birth control pills, anything?
Nope.
And if you...
How about getting the vibrator involved with the oral sex?
Right.
He actually got one of those little tongue vibrator things and tried that, but even using that, like, I couldn't... And I don't,
How does the tongue vibrator work?
Well, it's just this little, he's got a tongue ring, and it's a little vibrator thing it's a little attachment thing you can put on the tongue ring, and then it's got a little battery in there, and it just vibrates away, and he said it felt like he had a bee in his mouth.
Ew.
Wow.
Something like that.
It'd be awesome a few years from now when guys start getting tumors on their brain from attaching vibrators. Yeah.
Guys have got, and Drew, tell me if this is medically whatever, but guys have got to realize that women are not like men.
Oh, yes.
They do not climax or get off or whatever in,
it's really, we actually, again, for this Discovery Health thing I was working on, we did a masturbation diary where these couple did this video diary of what they were doing. And the woman would get in front of the camera and go, well, today I'm feeling really good about myself and I'm ready to go in and do this. So I'm lighting some candles. And next day it's like, I've had a tough day at work. Kids are a little tough. So maybe on Tuesday, maybe I'll get around to it then. The guy's like, I saw something on TV that reminded me of Angie Dickinson, so I had to squeeze one off. I saw something in the car, so I had to squeeze one off. I saw some. I mean, I suddenly felt, so I squeezed. I mean, 4 times a day, the guy's just pow, just boom, boom, and she has to prepare and be in the exact right sort of frame of mind for this thing to happen, and the whole process is different for women than men.
And pipe
Drew,
in on this,
hold
Miss
on.
Barry.
Let me just compliment. Let me compliment Drew. Your policewoman reference couldn't have been timelier. There's not a 14-year-old listening to this show who isn't thinking about Angie Dickinson.
Let me fill out the story. This guy goes, I saw someone on TV that reminded me of Angie Dickinson, and I saw her when I was like 11 years old, and I thought she was hot, and so I had to squeeze one off. And it's like, the guy's 30 years old talking about references to the policewoman.
It's going to be awesome,
but that's all it takes.
It's going to be great when their kids see that masturbation diary in a few years. They think... Yeah, go ahead.
No, sorry. I keep stepping on you.
No, it's all you, Jeff. Go ahead, buddy.
Well, here's the other thing that it seems like a lot of women will say, and this is what I was going to ask Miss Barry about, is that getting off for a guy is
sex.
Is the goal.
Yes. No.
is sex.
And so when women say, I have a very good sex life, I'm enjoying sex, but I didn't have an orgasm, the guy here is,
yeah.
It's like, you can't
or
make
I'm
sense
not
of
doing
it.
good.
They can't even make sense of it. It's like, I can't believe you're telling me that was good if you didn't have, how could that be? Impossible.
And yet they could be completely sincere.
Yes.
That my sex life is great. And every so often I have an orgasm.
I don't agree with that.
No?
No.
Well, there are women that feel that Julie's not one of those.
I agree with that.
Okay, so
Let's make it clear that Julie's not one of those women.
This, by the way, is
At
also,
all.
by the way, this also is the other confusing thing about women. There is this huge spectrum. They're all different. Men come in one version.
Very true.
One version, and women have this spectrum, and so guys are confused. Like, which one are you? Are you the one that has to have this or not? Or
And if you don't look at it as a problem, but as an opportunity for fun, you know, seriously, if you got to get it out of your head that, oh my God, it took 2 hours, I must suck at this, and say 2 hours of sex, come on, that's great.
Yeah, like building a ship in a bottle. Satisfying at the end of the long journey.
That's how I look at it. If I'm with my woman and I'm having a good time and we're still going 2 hours in, it's a good night.
All right, so the moral of our story for Shera is, do we know it's Shera?
Yes.
S-H-E, Shera, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, there's an E in there.
Yeah.
Is don't get up in your head about this whole thing.
Okay. You're fine.
Stop
You're good.
pushing too hard. You
And don't-
got a
and-
guy, stick with him.
Don't succumb also to his ego needs that you have to have an orgasm a certain way or experience sex a certain way. You experience it as you experience it. You're satisfied. It's good times. So there you go.
All right. That's
right.
good.
This is Becky, 22.
Hi.
Hey. 91 minutes on hold, Adam. 91 minutes, and listen to that.
91 minutes, yes. Feels like it too. But I had a question for Dr. Drew.
Yeah.
I have a large lump on the lip of my vagina.
Mm-hmm.
I went to the doctor, and they said that they would think it was lipoma except of its location.
Mm-hmm.
I got an ultrasound of it, never heard back. They said if I don't hear back, it's probably okay. Except when I was looking at the lipoma, which is what they thought it was.
No, it's not a lipoma. It's not a lipoma. Not a lipoma.
What's a lipoma?
Lipoma is just a little fatty collection. They're everyone's got them. They're around. They're no big deal. But the lips tend to cause glandular cysts. And so what kind of doctor was this you saw?
I just saw a general doctor, but she referred me to someone else who did an ultrasound of it.
A gynecologist?
No, it wasn't a gynecologist.
No, you went to the radiologist and had an ultrasound. You need to see a gynecologist. They see these things all the time. Right now, just use hot compresses, hot baths, that sort of thing. It's probably a Bartholin's gland cyst. They're no big deal. They're very common, okay?
Well, why does she need to get it checked out then?
Because they sometimes need to be drained. They can be they can get huge and get pussy and obnoxious, and sometimes have to.
Well, you guys are taking all the fun out of sex tonight.
That's our plan.
Is it okay that it's really hard? Like it feels like a bone.
Yeah, but it's smooth though. It's very, very round, right?
Kind of. It's like 3 inches long, and it's semi-smooth.
It's not
3 inches long.
That's big. But it doesn't feel like a rock. It's not pebbly surface.
It doesn't feel like a bunch of pebbles. It feels like one big rock, kind of.
One big smooth rock.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a cyst, I'm sure of it. And plus, the ultrasound, they would see a cyst and go, it's nothing. But you need to see a gynecologist. Sometimes these can become a little bit of a problem.
I would lance it if I was her.
I know you would.
That would be my thing.
I know.
Because here's the thing. To me, it's not what the problem is, it's whether I can get to it or not.
You know
what
both,
I'm saying?
Yeah, I know. And both Julie and Jeff seem very impressed by that lancing impulse you have. Why don't you share with them the crowning glory of your lancing career?
Please.
They seem very interested in this. And the technique you've mastered for it.
It's really what makes me Survivor material, quite honestly. I don't like to brag. But when I was, I must have been 18 or 19, I got a carbuncle on my ass, and I don't mean on my ass, I mean in my ass.
Ooh.
I mean, it was somewhere between Anusburg and Scrotumville.
At about 6:30, right?
Little closer to Anusburg.
Yeah.
And you get one of those babies down there, and you can't walk. Laughing hurts. And I didn't, I didn't have insurance. I didn't have a doctor. And besides, I didn't want anyone monkeying around down there anyway. Little did I know that, 15 short years later, Drew would be destroying my behind. But I digress. So I couldn't find it, though. I actually had to use a mirror and shine a flashlight on it in order to bounce the flashlight off of the mirror and into my ass. Yeah. And they
point out to them the special challenge of the Sherwood Forest you have to deal with there.
Well, it was pretty. It was a pretty rocky road, Drew, I must admit. But I was a lad of 18, so I hadn't grown into full manhood.
As Adam once said when he was describing this procedure, it was like trying to find Santa Claus's mouth.
Disgusting. I can't believe I said that. I must have been drunk. The point is I was able to take one of my stepmother's sewing pins and lance that baby myself. And let me tell you, when that thing finally went off, I was liberated. And it was like that scene from Tommy where he was able to see. I was just running down the street with my shirt off, jumping on top of every lawn, screaming to the heavens. It was awesome. But my point is you can lance your own carbuncles. I'm not saying this is one of them, Drew, but I've done a lot of personal lancing with a great degree of success.
I know you would go at this.
Yeah, I would. Yes, Jeff.
Glad.
No, I was going to say, you are Survivor material. Yeah. You're right. Anybody who says they would lance their own carbuncle.
Not just any carbuncle.
But at 6:30
in Annisville.
This
is Sean 15.
Hey, y'all. First, I wanted to ask Adam, when is Pilots running?
They don't run it. They just tell you whether you get to do the series or not. And, right now it looks promising, but no definitive answer yet. But thank you for asking.
All right, look forward to that. All right, questions for Jeff and Julie, I guess. I was today. Let's see. The guy, one of the guys from Survivor Vanuatu, came on, and he was the guy missing the leg.
Chad.
Yeah, Chad, and. He just came in for giving an inspirational speech, and I was just wondering how was it, how it was that he got on the show, and were there any? Did he have to do any tasks or?
Well, that's a good question. Did he have to? Did you have to make sure he could move with his prosthetic?
Yeah, you did, and the story on Chad was, you can't have any advantages in the game, and you can't help anybody. So our deal with him is you have to know that you're going into this game like anybody else, and that means everything. And we went through all the things that could go wrong with his leg. Where the shoe, where it fits up against his, what's left of his leg. What happens if that part of his leg gets infected, or what happens if he loses part of his leg? What happens if the foot on the leg breaks or something like that? You're on your own. And so we went through this, this pretty battery of tests with him physically. And the amazing thing about Chad is that he was more physically fit than probably 75% of any guy that's ever applied to be on the show. And I think, Sean, when you look back on that season, the story on Chad is there was no story. It never came up. And you became friends with him, and you spent time with him. What was it like out there?
Chad's great, and the best thing you can say about him is that you don't even realize. I don't look at Chad and think, oh, the guy without the leg. I mean, he's very agile, and he was great out there, and I don't think it hurt or helped him or did anything.
Yeah, it seemed to be a non-issue, which is really saying something for prosthetics.
Well, no, I think it is saying something for prosthetics. And for Chad. Chad is a hard-working guy who applied himself. He hadn't had the leg, 2 years?
Mm-hmm. I think a year.
Yeah, it's amazing what he could do in the room. We had him literally do a dance. He could go laterally. He could go forward.
How did he lose the leg?
Cancer. That's fun.
So I think what it is a testament to that you can get over a lot of things if you truly want to. But that's cool that he came in and gave that speech. I'd like to hear him talk because he's a neat guy.
Yeah, and the fact that it wasn't like he was, that was a birth defect. Like he'd had that prosthetic fitted just a year earlier makes it that much more impressive.
Think about it. Scout couldn't get around at all. She's got a few years on Chad, but I remember watching some of those challenges, and Chad did
tore it up.
He really did.
Well, that then brings up another question, which is, other than the interview part and the psychological testing part, is there a physical part? I mean, if you're not Chad. Do you know what I mean? Do you have him do an obstacle course or do something like that?
It's funny. I was going to say yes, because I know we used to have him do it, and Julie's over here shaking her head. No.
I never had one.
Nothing. No physical.
They ask you, and I think they just judge from appearance, but maybe they do for some of them, but I didn't have to go through anything.
Julie got it's because Julie was the chosen one. We knew this early on.
Yeah. When did, and by the way, Julie, refresh my memory, when did you get voted off?
I made it to day 36, so I was 5 left, and I got voted out.
Right.
She was right before the final episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Julie, do you have any, do you feel like had it not, not for a vote one way or the other, you could have ended up as a final two?
That's a complicated question. I think it could pair off in many different ways, but...
Are you resentful or angry with anybody?
No, not at all. Not at all. I feel very lucky to have experienced it and made the friends I did.
And you got the ultimate prize.
Well, of course, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you there, girl.
Yeah, the buff.
The buff.
Yeah, what you think I was talking about? Jeff, how many of those buffs? Seriously, I've never seen anyone walking around with one of those buffs on, and you guys never stop hawking them. How many of you sold in 10 seasons? You sold 8 of those? How many?
No,
of those
you know
sold?
what? Well, wait.
That's ironic.
It's not me, because I don't have anything to do with it, but the most popular item sold at the CBS.com website is the Survivor buff. More than CSI merchandise or Everybody Loves Raymond. It's that buff.
Really?
Everybody wants a buff.
But it's so true because you never see them out. You just never do.
And people must have some sort of buff display case, like you put military flags in. Yeah. They don't wear them when they're jogging.
Yes,
no.
You're right.
All right.
All right, Adam, we got to go to break? Yes, we got to go to break, and we will do that right now.
If you need help,
call LoveLine 1-800-LOVE-191.
LoveLine is brought to you by Playboy. What do Paris Hilton and the 25 sexiest stars, plus a very grown-up Debbie Gibson, plus our annual music bowl, all in the same issue add up to? Spring fever.
Ready?
LoveLine, Survivor, Jeff Probst, Julie Berry. Phone number here, 1-800-LOVE-191. Adam's in Charlotte. Is that where you are?
Yes, I am.
And it sounds like you're just in the studio with us. Sounds great.
Thank you, Drew. Is it raining over there now?
What do you think?
I'm going to go with yes.
Yeah, it's having this. It's gone into this sort of weird phase of stopping and then starting with these unbelievable deluges. The deluges alternate with water and ice. It's like hail. Constant hail. Huge sheets of hail.
Lots of houses sliding away.
Yes, a lot of stuff sliding away.
Maybe this will stem the tide of horrible driving transplants that move to Los Angeles and Southern California each year.
Right.
Yeah, maybe that's a good thing.
You hope. It's kind of, it's just a weird. I started thinking tonight, we've exceeded Seattle for rainfall this year.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, by quite a margin, apparently. And this is the third most rain since Wanippo Shera started keeping records at the St. Gabriel Mission 400 years ago for this region of the country.
Yeah, well, actually, just for my own edification, why don't you have Michelle, thank you, pop on the internet there and find out, how far we're past our seasonal whatever we're supposed to have and whatever records, how badly we've crushed them already.
Last I heard, we're at 33 inches, which makes it number 3 in all time, and moving up quickly, moving towards number 1. And I think our usual rainfall for the year is 19 inches. And last year at this time it was 12 or 14.
And we have another couple of months left, right?
That's right.
Every day I live up on a hill in one of the canyons. Every day I go home, I hope it's there. There's nothing you can do. You just sit in your house and you watch the rain and you wonder if it's your hill that's coming down.
But I'll tell you what you cannot do, which is after your entire neighborhood flows away in a stream of mud, please don't rebuild. I'm tired of these idiots who stare into the news camera and proudly boast that they will be rebuilding.
Right. Or the ones that aren't leaving while the slide's occurring.
Yeah.
We're not going to leave. We're supposed
too.
to hold. Yeah, we're supposed to praise them for their fortitude.
Yeah, and I've seen these people. I've seen their houses. There's nothing in there. You got like a TV tray and a bowling trophy. Who the hell are you kidding? Get out of there. Jeff has a home filled with Emmys and keepsakes, and he flees willingly.
Yes.
Thank you.
God,
and
I love
to
how
mention,
my life sounds.
Not to mention his choker collection.
Now that's true. I've got some decent chokers. I'm wearing a Tahitian black pearl tonight.
Yes, I'm looking at that. Interesting.
From the Marquesas, and I like to feel. I kind of like to take credit for bringing this whole trend back with people wearing stuff around their necks.
Yeah,
I think it was gone until Survivor.
No, it was absolutely gone. I mean, we can chronicle it. It had its heyday. It had its heyday in the '70s with the medallions, and then in the early '80s, the puka shell reared its ugly head, and then it sort of was gone. And then a handful of greasy banged guys from the Midwest started sporting a couple of puka shells about 6-8 years ago. But now it is back and firmly entrenched in the hearts and minds of all Americans. It's like I'm delivering a speech.
It was a good one.
That's how strongly I feel about Jeff's chokers.
Nice.
Thank you.
Here's Michelle, who's 20.
Yes.
Okay, Michelle, what's going on there?
Hey. I had a question.
Yeah.
I always get panic attacks when I'm having sex, and I want to know why.
Well, that sounds like past abuse to me.
Well, let's clarify this. What's the circumstance? Is this with a long-term monogamous partner, or is this with sort of anonymous hookups, or what's the situation?
These are during rapes.
During rapes, I can understand.
Rapes, yes.
During Adam, should we get into this a little bit?
No, I'm too tired.
Let's
keep going.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. So Michelle, we'll set the scene for us.
Okay. Well, I was with my first boyfriend for 2 years, and every time we would sleep together, halfway through, like clockwork, I'd get a panic attack.
How old were you?
I was 19.
19. And was this any kind of, were there flashbacks associated with this? Was a flashback to some earlier trauma?
No, none at all. Just all of a sudden I'd start to cry and my muscles would start to clench up. And I used to get those attacks also when I would be under a lot of stress from the time I was about 10.
10? That's kind of unusual, right? Stress of a 10-year-old? People don't usually talk in those terms. For somebody that's not been traumatized, it's hard to understand how you could have stress to the point of panic attack at 10.
Well, how do we know she wasn't traumatized?
She said no, not at all. And I'm saying, well, obviously she was.
I know I used to get panic attacks because I would think too much. And there were things going on with me earlier in my life. And
what happened? What happened?
Well, I wasn't physically abused, but I started dieting when I was 10, and then I got an eating disorder when I was 13, like officially, and it sort of built up from there. But
okay, so you have an eating disorder. What happened before you were 10? You said some things happened earlier in your life.
Oh no, that's just when I started to get panic attacks and just start sweating and.
All right. Well, why would you start dieting at age 10?
Because I was told that I was fat.
Okay,
right,
well,
so do you have professional parents? Are they like attorneys or something?
No, they're teachers. No, but I think my mom might have an image problem also because she's been dieting her whole life.
I have no idea. Did she say they're in insurance?
No, an image problem, the mom.
No, before that, when we're
Teachers.
asking teachers, is what she said.
So
okay.
what Adam is going after is the sort of intrusive quality of the parenting, that sort of when kids feel completely intruded upon and not valued as a separate person, it makes it difficult to develop internal systems of emotional regulation, and panic is one of the things that develops. Eating disorders is one of the sort of behaviors that manifest as the body tries to find ways to regulate emotions. So that's why Adam's going down that path. So these things have been treated, right? The eating disorder?
Yeah, I've been going through therapy for about 2 years now, and
how come they're not treating the panic too?
I haven't told him about it.
All right. Why don't you go ahead and tell him about that, Michelle? That's a big part of your syndrome here.
It's really difficult for me to talk about that aspect of my life to somebody face to face.
Being sexual?
Yeah.
Why is that so difficult for you?
I'm not sure.
It
seems like there's more here than.
Oh yes. But you seem perfectly.
All right. Yeah,
Wait,
where's your dad? Where's your dad?
My dad's a wonderful father. He's very logical. He is a wonderful worker.
Wow, high praise. It'll be great at his eulogy. He was a pragmatic, logical, hardworking drone of a man. He'll be missed. Wow.
All right, Michelle.
All right, so Michelle's there's deep things going on with Michelle, and I don't know what they are, but go ahead, Drew.
Well, I just wondering, she has no trouble expressing to us what has been happening to her during sexual acts. Why can't she be a little more open and honest with people whose job it is to be there to help her?
I can't, for some reason, I can't talk to people face to face about my own sexual problems. It's like
well, I'll tell you one of the things that this may or may not be you, but one of the things that I deal with all the time with people that are used to being very compulsive and very perfectionistic is when they have a genuine or tender need. That's when they have real trouble opening up to people, because that's when they expect rejection, and that's when the rejection really hurts. You know, you feel ashamed because you've exposed yourself to a tender need. And the fact is, Michelle, you've got professionals working for you, and they need you to express those tender needs in order to help you grow. So our advice to you is to get back in there, describe what's going on, and let them help you. Very simple. That's that.
All right.
All right. Once
Hey,
again.
Adam, I have your news report.
Oh, good. All right.
Yeah, let's hear it.
As of 4 o'clock today, more than 8.3 inches of rain had fallen downtown L.A. Today. Mm-hmm.
How crazy
the
is that?
National Weather Service reported that lifts the season total to 33.09 inches, moving past the 32.7 inches that fell in the 1940 to 1941 season.
What's this, number 3?
The approaching the third highest figure, 33.44 inches in the 1977-78 season. The wettest season since records began, kept in 1877, was 1883-84 when 38.18 inches of rain fell.
So we only need I don't know what
4 more inches,
13/16 to go into number 2.
Yeah,
to beat that's nothing. We'll get that by
tomorrow,
by noon tomorrow.
Yeah.
Wow, we're gonna crush those 1870s people. It's gonna be awesome.
Go.
I'm going to do a dance on their grave. And was it really that accurate, 130
That's what I
years
wondered.
ago?
Yeah, that's what I thought to myself. I wonder if it's just some bucket they stuck outside and they
Some
claimed to have had all.
drunken friar staggered out to a mule and just yelled back to some guy in a bell tower.
And some guy urinated in the bucket. It's really
happened.
it's just really inaccurate.
Yeah, Drew's right. Most of that is 1880s hobo urine.
Yes.
Which is the world's worst title of a cologne. If you think about it, it's like no worse name for an aftershave. 1880s hobo urine. But it's an effective skin bracer. It works nicely after you shave.
As an
It
aftershave.
closes the pores.
Always said that. Always said that. All right, time for a break.
All right.
Jeff Probst, Julie Berry, Survivor, 1-800-LOVE-191 is our number here at LoveLine. Adam and Charlotte, Drew here in wherever the hell I am, in underwater with waiting for Noah to arrive, and we'll be right back.
Dude, you got issues.
Call LoveLine.
1-800-LOVE-191.
LoveLine, Jeff Probst, Julie Berry, Survivor. Adam and Charlotte. Adam, what's going on, buddy?
Oh, 3 a.m. Just worked 10 hours today. Just taking a chill pill.
Are we going to have our nightly session, or am I going to have to let you off the hook tonight? Or let Jeff off the hook tonight, more importantly.
Well, I've made notes, and we're going to talk about it tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night.
Yeah, because I got to catch an early flight out of here, and it's like 3 a.m. already. So
we're going to have dinner tomorrow night with David Roos, who is the auction winner who paid $15,000 to be a special guest on this show tomorrow night.
Are you kidding?
Wow. No kidding.
This is a $15,000 seat I'm sitting in.
You're
wow.
sitting in it.
I can see why, though. It's a good show.
Not only that, thank you, Jeff, but there was actually another guy who was competing with him who
Tom
somehow
Burbine
had a technical difficulty or something, and he's also offered up $15,000. And he's
why do I know that name? Is that a?
It sounds like a common name, but it's just a guy. He's a what was he, an astrophysicist or something, teaching at UMass Amherst?
Wow.
Or Mount Holyoke College, Mount Holyoke. And he's going to come in and have dinner with us. And this was a fundraiser for the tsunami victims.
Oh wow!
And these two guys
the thing that's cool about both these guys is I figured these guys are going to be some trust fund babies, or they're going to be some guys who made a bunch of money on junk bonds and are looking for a good tax write-off. Neither one of these guys are rich by anyone's definition of rich. The one guy, the astrophysicist, who's going to be teaching at Harvard or something like that, that he gets $15,000 for a summer session.
Right, and his entire salary.
He's putting the whole thing up, and the other guy, who's out of Seattle, does some real estate, but needed to wait till he paid his last credit card bill or something. So neither one of these guys are rich, which makes the gesture that much more positive in my mind.
Mm-hmm. We were talking just during the break about Drew's always on me to pass on to our doctors that when people come off Survivor, they need to be refed. What do you call it?
Carefully,
the refeeding.
yeah, refeeding
carefully, because they go through this quite a shock to their bodies. And I was thinking about laughing about Julie kept when she got home from Survivor, and she went deep into the show. So by the time she got home, it hadn't been very many days.
Mm-hmm.
She kept a diary. Her parents set her down and just asked her questions like, what was your experience like? How are you feeling emotionally? What happened? It's fascinating to watch somebody still in the state of this mental game that's so unrelenting the entire time. There are 4 tapes we watched of the little video things. 4 tapes. It goes on for hours.
Video diaries of your parents interviewing you.
Yes, she is eating.
Me talking pretty much, though.
Eating the entire time.
She is eating the entire time.
Yeah.
It looks like I get bigger and bigger and bigger as the tape goes on.
It's constantly, and it follows her to the refrigerator. She gets more milk for more cereal, and she goes, and then the other thing that you're not going to believe.
I spill some cereal. I pick up every little grain off the table. It's disgusting.
Well, Julie, this is good. So did it really make you, I mean, it's been how many months now altogether since? It's been
about 6. About 6 months.
6 months. And have you lost your appreciation, or do you think you'll forever have that appreciation for, the little things in life?
It was definitely very strong when I got out. I mean, I took a shower and I thought, look at all these things I can play with. There's soap, there's sponges, and all I needed was sand about a minute ago. So, but now, I mean, I'm that way kind of anyway, but right after, I was very sensitive to all those things.
But she stood up and declared, as God is my witness. As God is my witness.
Yeah, gone with the wind. But But now you're back to normal, where like you're yelling at the waiter about the calamari being soggy
and creating your own salad dressing.
I can warp back into Survivor Land, definitely. But no, it took me about 2 months to get back to normal life. And it was an interesting road, which was documented, and Jeff and I just watched it.
But I think the message here is, and it's sort of like people that have near-death experiences where they do that, I'm a changed man.
Yeah.
That goes on for a few weeks, and then it's right back to yelling at the assistant. Am I right, Drew? Isn't that sort of how people are?
Yes, unless they really create persistent change. You know what I mean? Really do things that make evolution and growth possible. If they just expect change to occur because they've had an intense experience, it reverts. Go ahead. I'm going to take one quick call before the end of this segment.
I was just going to say, at least Julie has that to call back on at any time in her life and say, you know, I am lucky no matter how far away you get away from the event.
Right.
Exactly.
Sean, 20.
Yeah, a quick question for Jeff. Hey, Jeff, big fan of yours. I watched your movie Finder's Fee back in the day. Loved your directing and stuff like that. And I was just wondering if you had any projects or anything in the works right now.
Well, thanks for bringing up Finder's Fee. That's cool. I'm trying to get something going. I'm working on something right now, but it's kind of like especially in Los Angeles, everybody talks. Everybody's got a thing here and a deal in development there, and I don't have anything going officially. I'm working toward it, and I would love to do it again, because it was. Writing and directing a movie was definitely the most fulfilling creative experience I've ever had. And I would like to try it again. It's hard to do. I look back on it now and realize what I didn't know and how lucky I was that somebody actually gave me money to make a movie.
What was the budget?
$1.5 million.
Wow.
And we have a cast. We have James Earl Jones and Robert Forster and some really great young guys, Matthew Lillard and these guys. But
Matthew Lillard, he's a good friend of ours.
Yeah, he's a good guy. So I had a great time, and it was. You know what else is weird looking back on it? Sean bringing this up. Survivor hit, and I got this movie greenlit really on the same day, literally on the same day, unrelated to each other, had nothing to do with me being on Survivor. And so I come back and we do this Survivor season, and it culminates with 57 million people watching the finale, and I'm going into pre-production on a movie starring James Earl Jones. I had no idea how good life was. I thought, wow, that's 57 million. I think that's a lot of people. And James Earl Jones, he was in Star Wars, right? He's cool. So, now I look back on it and think, God, for a minute there, I actually had a movie going and a TV thing going.
Well, now you just have a TV thing going.
But you know what I mean? It takes that perspective.
Yes.
It's almost the opposite question you asked Julie. It's taking me years to realize.
Appreciate what you had.
Wow. Yeah.
We got to go to break here, Adam. Do you want to say goodnight to these guys?
Yeah, because I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
Julie,
good night.
Jeff, sorry I missed you. I'll see you next time you're in studio. I'm a big fan, and I'll be watching Thursday night.
Right on. Good talking to you again.
Take care, guys.
We'll be right back.
Good night.
All right, guys. Bottom line, here's the deal. Looking to hook up? Sick of wasting time with the wrong person? One call's all you need to make. Call the Dateline. The Dateline.
877-889-DATE. LoveLine with Adam Carolla and Dr. Drew. 1-800-LOVE-191. We'll be right back.
This hour brought to you in part by Axe. Experience the Axe effect.
That about does it for LoveLine. Jeff, Julie, thank you for coming in here this evening.
Thanks for having us.
We appreciate it. You are welcome back anytime. Adam describes you, Jeff, as a dear friend of the show.
Oh, I like that.
Yes, it's wonderful. And we appreciate you listening and supporting it. And good luck on the next...
Yeah,
thank you. It's 2 more years for sure you're going to do.
2 more seasons.
2 more seasons.
Year. Yeah.
Afraid of it. Julie, good luck. Good luck with the MFT program.
Thank you.
I don't know if you just divulge it on the air. Can we talk about that real quick?
Yeah, I want to go get my master's in marriage and family therapy.
Fantastic. I will get you a job. So, Adam is not with us. He'll be back in the studio tomorrow night. We've got Seth Green coming up later in the week, and we have the winner of the auction for the tsunami victims tomorrow night. And in the meantime, this is Dr. Drew on behalf of Adam Carolla saying mahalo.
This has been LoveLine. LoveLine. The opinions expressed on this show are not necessarily those of the staff, management, sponsors, or this station. The producer for LoveLine is Ann Ingold. LoveLine is a presentation of Westwood One Entertainment.